welcome to Dr. A Talks. Today we have my friend Candice Pinto who's going to join us really soon. She has been the winner of GladRag's Mega Model Contest, of the Fresh Face and Miss Tourism Worldwide. So just waiting for Candice to join.
Hi, Aditi.
Hey Candy, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Welcome on Dr. A Talks. Super excited to have you. I was just telling our listeners that you've been the winner of GladRag's Supermodel, Miss Fresh Face and Miss Tourism Worldwide. How has your journey been? What got you into modeling?
God, Aditi, it's like we come from GladRag's as well. It's been 2 decades of a great journey, and the years have gone by really fast, so it doesn't feel like it's been almost 20 years now.
Yes.
And I think my journey has been fabulous because I work with the best. Our days were different. It was a tough 20 years, but it was all worthwhile. And I think the quality of everything has changed over the years. So I wouldn't complain, but I've come up from the best years of fashion and modeling. So here I am.
Yes, and in fact when you won GladRag's, I was present in the audience, and I had even said to the person who I was attending it with that this girl is definitely going to go places, because you had that X factor which is it's a very special quality. It's either inherently there or you can develop it. I think it's a combination of both. Where you are concerned, did you always want to be a model? Did you always have that in you that no, I have to become a model, or was it something else and then you got interested in the whole modeling profession a little later?
Actually, this question is a very simple question, but honestly speaking, modeling was not something that I really dreamt of being. It was something I used to do in my part time in school or when I was in college, and it was my parents who actually kind of forced me, or they kept filling forms. Back in the days, we used to have handwritten forms. You had to send it by post office and stuff. I still remember my parents sending the first one to, it was Femina Look of the Year. I was, I think, almost 17. I got rejected. And they said you can try again after a few years. I was overweight that time. And then when I almost turned 18, that's when, again, it was the same thing. GladRag, you just sent me the entry. And that's how I got the reply. So modeling just happened to me. I was still doing my college. My parents clearly said, even though we are Western in thoughts, my parents are very conservative, and my father was not really into me modeling or anything like that. So it was something that just happened over the years.
Okay. So, we've had a few questions. In fact, with you, I started this whole thing of ask Candice anything, that kind of a thing on Insta story. So I have a few questions. We won't have time to answer all of them because I have questions for you myself, which I want you to answer. So when I asked about which was your first breakthrough in Bollywood, I know you've done some work in Bollywood, though modeling has been the mainstay.
Actually, I've not even touched Bollywood.
You've done a song? You've not done any song
either? No, nothing. I always said no to it.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry. I thought you had done.
A lot of people they have these special songs where there's fashion models. I always said no to it. I don't think it was very comfortable, so I always said no to it.
Okay. All right. Okay. So Soumya Hellrider asked, what is your most embarrassing childhood memory?
The most embarrassing? I have got many embarrassing. As a child, I was not really like a skinny child. I was always, my brother used to call me fat face. So I was very chubby at that time. And my elder sister, she's fair, stunning, beautiful, she's still stunning. So every time I used to look at her, and I used to want to be her. So the clothes that she used to wear, I used to never fit into it. So the embarrassing thing was I used to try and get into it, and I used to always, feel like, how do you say, when you're really upset that your sister looks so beautiful and you're always trying to get into something that never fits you. So I used to try getting into things, and it was a disaster. There were always embarrassing moments, trying to cope up with my sister or try to be like her. But over the years when you grow up, things change.
Oh my God, you are one of the fittest models I know and have known for last 20 years because...
over the years it's become like that. I think it's like...
Yeah, no, but you maintained it. You maintained it, I mean, it's a long journey that you've had, and there have been ups and downs, I'm sure. But throughout it all, one thing which I would like to share with all the viewers is I have never seen Candice down and out. I have always seen her in a positive mode, always giving out positive vibes. So So how do you keep that going? Is that inherently your quality? How do you get over a bad mood, or somebody says something to you, you feel insulted, you feel hurt, but I've never seen that on your face ever.
I think, over the years, what I have noticed it because, I've seen all of you girls, the time when I started modeling. We had a very good set of models who were also very close friends, and everyone used to talk about it. So my seniors were such inspirational women, strong women, that everyone had the up and downs. But I think we did one thing, was talk to each other, no matter
Yeah.
how close or far. Back in the days, we barely even had mobile phones. So I
Yeah.
think communication is so important in a field, and your upbringing especially. I have so many siblings. So when situations like that happen, it's very difficult for someone to approach somebody. But I think what I made it a point to always discuss with my close friends. I had my sister or I had my friends at that time. So it was very easy to let go of the extra load that you had in the job. And every job has got excess load, whether it's like emotional, it's professional. But I think it's so important to communicate it with someone who's close to you, so you can relax. So I think I had very good set of model friends, and my family was always around. So I think that's what kept me going over the years.
Okay, excellent. Then, who has been your inspiration?
God, my mother's always been an inspiration because now I value her. Hats off to 4 of us. Trying to cook for 1-2 people, it's fine. I don't know how to family. But she was always my inspiration because she's such a hard-working mother, and she used to work before she got married. It's after she had kids, kind of, she gave up. But now when I look back, I want to actually, when this quarantine gets over, that's the first thing I'm going to do is, even though we speak to each other, I want to go and hug her and thank her for all these years that she's dealt with us. You are a handful.
Yeah. I know, right? In fact, I had put out a video as well on Mother's Day saying that write a gratitude letter to your mother, because it's very rarely that we actually appreciate what they do. I mean, very superficially we might say, yeah, I love you, and but writing it down makes a huge difference. And I've written a letter to my mother, and I'm going to read it out to her when the lockdown is over, face to face. And that's what I've been telling everybody, that just write down a gratitude letter. If you live with your mother, that's great. You can read it out to her. If not, just wait for the lockdown to get over and then read it out. Okay, so Rajat Goyal has asked, what's up in home quarantine?
Listen, I'm quite hectic in home quarantine. Sunday being my day where I do all my shoots, videos, interviews mostly on Sundays, because I try not to cook as much and I keep the day a little relaxing. But my whole daily routine is on schedule. I have to wake up in the morning. I spend some time with obviously my husband, and then the cooking, cleaning, washing, everything is on time. Then again, we don't really watch anything on television till night. We kind of watch the news, but that's about it. We try and read, or we play some board games or games on your iPad. We try and keep it easy. Then we work out together, and then by night we have dinner early. So our routine is pretty set. Saturdays we kind of indulge in whatever you want to eat. So we try to keep it as easy as we can and as regular, so that when the quarantine gets over, we shouldn't be like on extreme ends. Yeah, we keep ourselves occupied somehow.
I'm sure. No, with the housework and cooking and cleaning, that itself takes quite a bit of time, right?
It's the best to keep yourself occupied.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, there is this whole wave of learning something new, of acquiring new skills. Have you indulged in any of those?
This was the first thing I wanted to do, was learn piano or the guitar. Guitar I don't have. So what happened before the lockdown is, I just happened to get my reading glasses on. And I applied for it, I paid for it. The lockdown happened, I don't have my glasses, so I find it really difficult reading on a laptop.
Oh dear.
So I can't do anything, because the more longer I sit on my phone or my laptop, I can't really see. So this is the disadvantage that I have. So if not now, whenever these glasses are going to come, I want to learn music. It's really hard. In times like that, you can't really see anything from so close.
Yeah. No, but I think now the shops are open. The opticians are open on certain days. No, because I'm going to send you a number. I think my optician sent me a message saying that they're open on certain days. So just check it out. I mean, because I know how it is without glasses. I've got glasses, so it's very difficult to manage reading. And yeah, absolutely. It's a struggle. So okay. So music is one thing. in workout, because you are so fit, like I keep saying, and I have seen your videos, and you are, I mean, it takes a lot of hard work to achieve or have the body and maintain it on a long-term basis. So you've obviously been working out from a long time as well, right? I know you run. I've seen you run on a treadmill. So what has been your routine like before the lockdown, and what is it that you've added now to continue with the fitness?
It was very hard because I'm someone who used to go to the gym quite regularly. I used to go to the beach sometimes, but I'm so used to doing heavy weights in the gym. Running comes naturally for me, but sometimes you're so bored of that same routine. So weight training was something that I always loved doing. And now obviously my husband is also into fitness. So what has happened is in the lockdown, thank God we have a space downstairs, but we do that in the house as well. So we picked up certain weights and it was lucky in my car irrespective. So now he's obviously changed things that I could do, replacing weights. So I've kind of mixed and matched. I train every day, but not necessarily like heavy weight. I do 20 minutes or 30 minutes because you're tired for the first half of the day. So I make sure you're walking up and down the stairs or roaming around the building. I do some activity for 20-30 minutes just to feel good. And trust me, my food has been the same. I splurge on weekends. But I think it's all about how you want to feel at the end of the day. It's 30 minutes to yourself or myself makes me feel good. And I think it's required because you're stagnant in the house the whole day. I think this thing kind of keeps my sanity like right up there.
Yeah.
So I think it's good to do a little bit of workout for yourself.
Okay, so was fitness always part of your life when you started modeling? When did you get on this whole fitness mode?
It was now actually it was never there right from the start. It's like when I entered the industry after 3 years, obviously then you started realizing models are working out and everyone has to stay fit. I think my seniors inspired me. That's when I joined the gym and then started working out. And then over the years, my body was not the same. Then I started putting on weight. So then you start understanding your body because once you cross your puberty and then 22, 23, then your body changes every year.
Yeah.
So I started learning a lot about my body and travel and food. So I think I just got hooked on it because it's important in the profession that we are in. So it just became like my second skin. So working out comes naturally, and I love eating, so they go hand in glove.
No, but I've always seen you eating very healthy. You're not the kind who will just.
I just had a pizza this afternoon.
But today's a weekend, right? You said that on Sundays you splurge, so it's okay. You got to.
I like to. I'll work out.
Yeah.
I'll work out to eat.
Arzu's on the chat as well. Hi, Arzu.
Hi,
She's
Arzu.
a very big fan of yours. So she's very fond of you. No, she speaks very fondly of you.
I haven't seen it. Normally, at least the girls meet up and all.
I know, right? Yeah. Now coming to your skin, you have had fabulous skin. Having said that, one also has to maintain. So how is it that you take care of your skin? Do you do anything special? Is there a secret mantra to how you look after? Because I mean, not only your face, but even your body skin is fabulous. And I've told you this when we used to model.
I'm blessed with good genes because my parents have great genes. So when anyone asks this question, I've never used any product on my face but Nivea. Till date, I do that. It's been like 2 decades. I've not changed my Nivea. I use baby oil to remove my makeup off. I wash my face thoroughly before sleeping and I moisturize it really well. Apart from that, I drink a lot of water. And sometimes when you inherit good skin, you don't know really what to do because this is how your skin is always going to be. But for people who I know have bad skin, you do get a nice cleanser. A good product is always very important. A good face wash and a good moisturizing night cream, which is much needed. And always try and apply a good sunscreen.
Very important because you know, I had this thing that I want to get a nice tan. So I used to actually put carrot oil and baby oil and go and lie down in the sun. Eventually I realized that it's not working for me because all it was doing was giving me these brown patches instead of that beautiful tan that you girls get. So I was like, no, I can't be sitting. So I anyways have freckles, but sitting out in the sun trying to get a tan used to give me these brown patches. So I said, I can't do this anymore to myself. So sunblock is very, very crucial. So I guess you're not doing anything special as such, but just the daily routine of sleeping with clean skin, using a good moisturizer, and good sleep, right? I know you like sleeping as well, so you sleep
Yes.
properly and you.
My sleeping hours are 7 to 8. I don't go beyond that. I don't sleep in the afternoon. So I'm so used to those 7 or 8 hours of sleep that my body's, it's like a body clock. So when I'm traveling, it's fine. And then I can work the whole day with 5, 6 hours of sleep. But sleep is very important to feel fresh, to have a great mindset.
Yeah, yeah. How did you meet Drew?
Oh God. You and me met on a blind date,
Oh,
a coffee date.
okay.
And yeah, it was on obviously social media really comes handy. And, and I'm not someone who really goes and starts, finding people on. But I think it was a phase where all apps were in fashion and stuff like that. It was literally like, it was not even me, it was my girlfriends who actually liked the picture. And conversation happened. And meeting me, I don't believe in apps. Then I went from Facebook just to know if the person is real. And then from Facebook, it went on to your cell phone. Because I said we live in 2000, I think we can still exchange numbers. So it was a coffee date was quite normal. Nothing much happened because I came back from a show. I looked terrible. It was pretty late and I was tired. He was like just looking at me and nothing much to say because I always speak a lot. So first date was just a normal date. No sparks were flying, nothing. It just was normal. And that one date, now we're married.
How long? It's been quite a while, I think, isn't it? You had a beautiful.
5 years. I'm married for 3 years now.
Oh, okay. So that's quite new in that
I know.
sense. Yeah. So what is this lockdown? What is it one thing that has been a takeaway for you, which is like, like an eye opener, like, oh my God, this is something that is going to be with you forever.
The eye opener is a profession that we are in. It
Yeah.
involves events, gatherings, crowd, everything. So what's an eye opener is that we're so used to doing this.
Yeah.
How will things work after quarantine gets over? How is our job and a lot of other jobs pertaining to the fashion industry, lifestyle, weddings, how is this going to move forward? So that's quite an shocking thing for all of us because we don't know how is it going to work after this.
Pan out, yeah.
Yeah, pan out. And finances are based on our work profile.
Absolutely.
So it keeps rolling down in my memory every time. I keep thinking about it. But then at the same time, there's no point thinking about it because when things like that come to an end, we'll eventually know. But yeah, it's always at the back of my head as to how is this going to pan out by the end of it.
Okay, so that is the, so to say, looking at the future. But what has been the learning, like spending so much time at home, being with Drew, in the environment that you are in. Like, for example, Dino, then Rohit Roy, and a couple of other people shared that decluttering is such an important thing, not only of the home, but of the mind as well. And they've gone ahead and decluttered their homes and their minds. Then there was somebody who shared that working on their bodies or, setting a goal to say do a headstand or handstand. That was the learning that they got, that they can do it in a very short period of time if they're consistent with it. So keeping that in mind, that kind of a narrative, is there anything that you've picked up in this 60 days, I think now?
Yeah. First, I was always complaining as to I have no time with my partner. We're always traveling. We barely have weekends together. So now since we're staying together, we appreciate each other's time, space, importance. Because now when we're on each other's face 24 hours round the clock, there are times where we are irritated or mood swings or things we have to do. So now we started appreciating each other's time and space and what we do for each other. Whether it's me cooking for him, whether he's very good in tidying up, and since he has OCD, so it helps me that way. So he's better at that. So we have realized each other's strength and weaknesses, and we're working towards it. And it's nice to know because when we had the time, we always were out of the house. So now since we have the time, we're working on this together.
Okay, that's fantastic. And I'm glad you shared because again, the social media kind of projects only the pretty and the positive and all is rosy kind of a picture. But I've also had a couple of guests sharing that being in a space an enclosed space with one particular person or 2-3 family members can get on your nerves.
Yes.
But the important thing is the conflict resolution, which is very important, like you said, that it's good to appreciate the weaknesses as well as the strengths. So it's good not to sweep it under the carpet, but kind of openly speak about it and reach to a conclusion where then you start appreciating both, because then it becomes easier to live, isn't it? Did you ever go through any anxiety or any kind of panic attack in
Actually,
this?
sometimes when you don't know what your future holds, you're very anxious.
Yeah.
Or when I was staying with my parents and my work was just, I was working just every year, it just became so monotonous. And you're working and you're working and you're working. Some days when you used to sit and just chill, I used to keep wondering what my future holds, because relationships used to come and go. And since you're always traveling, you never really paid attention to your relationship. And then one day I just gave up. I was like, I don't think I'm ever going to get married at that time. I think it's so important for everyone to have goals and to balance yourself out in life when it comes to work and relationships, because sometimes our work just takes over everything that you don't really have time, and by then the time's already gone and you don't realize that you've lost it.
Yeah.
So I think over the years, I was anxious at times, but I think being anxious is normal. It's a human nature to feel that. Sometimes when you don't know how your work is going on, you're anxious. When you're traveling, you don't know when they're going to reach home, your parents aren't well, you're anxious. So I think it's a part of life, and I think you have to adapt. And if you feel like that, you just talk to someone.
Yeah. But right now in this lockdown, because this has caused a lot of anxiety, and I am getting a lot of clients, in fact, who are going through a lot more anxiety than what one faces otherwise, given the situation. And it could be pertaining to many other fields. Of course, career is one thing, but relationships, or even your not being able to meet your friends. So socially, you are not enjoying the whole meeting and partying, or just going to somebody's home for dinner or to a restaurant. So the social support in that sense is lacking. So have you had any kind of negative situation?
I'm really emotionally sad or upset when I don't get to see my parents, because I see them every week. And obviously they are really old, both are 70 plus. And we always have this every week get together. Now it's been like almost 2.5 months I actually haven't seen them. So I do have my downers when I especially watching TV and I see parents. When my husband, even Drew's parents in the UK, they're really old. So it's really heartbreaking that we can't really meet them. And my parents are still in the city, his parents are not in town. So he gets really upset as well, because he was supposed to be in the UK right now and he's here. And he wants to spend time, and this distance is really like, it's sad actually what's going on. So as much as I want to be with my parents, I can't. It's heartbreaking at times to think about it. I don't know when I'm going to see them next. And even if the lockdown is over, I'm not so sure whether I'll be able to meet them as like a normal daughter would do, because you still think that whether you're asymptomatic. So it is quite scary. So that kind of stresses me out sometimes. But as I say, hope and pray that everything gets better.
Yes, absolutely. So what is that one takeaway message if you have to give to the listeners because of this lockdown situation?
I think everyone is having troubled times. Everyone is putting up a smile on their faces so that we move on. Some people are suffering worse than where I am right now. I should be happy, and I'm grateful to where I am. But I think everyone should just hope and pray that there will be a better day. Our parents have seen worse days than this. They've been through wars. So if something is here right now, it will eventually diminish. Just hope and be positive and stay grounded and stay at home and stay safe.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And where physical health is concerned, what would your advice be? Because as I said earlier that you are one of the fittest models we have in the country. What is your message to people who are not into modeling field necessarily, but generally? I mean, it doesn't matter who or what you're doing. So to them,
I keep telling everyone that it's not about what profession you're in, but you need 30 minutes of some activity just to keep yourself sane, healthy, fit, because you have to build your immunity stronger, whether it's during this quarantine, whether with this virus and everything. You still have to live a very healthy lifestyle. Even if it means walking around your vicinity or even doing a 20-minute workout for yourself or meditation, you need to invest 30 minutes on yourself just to feel good. And I think it's so important to live a very healthy lifestyle because over the years, the quality of food, everything has just gone down. The least you can do is spend 30 minutes on yourself.
Yeah, yeah. And what is the eating mantra that you would want to share with the viewers?
Eating mantra, I'm the wrong person because I eat anything and everything. During the weekdays, I try and eat kind of good food, healthy food, but it's okay to cheat once in a while. So I'm not going for a competition or anything. So it's okay to cheat once in a while. So we keep it healthy till Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday we eat anything and everything. And then since we work out, we start back on Monday all over again. So I think it's.
So what is the healthy lifestyle? What is the healthy eating lifestyle that you follow from Monday to Friday?
See, normally when I'm cooking, since my husband does eat a lot of Indian food, so I make chicken, then I have boiled rice, and I have like a vegetable. Dal is mostly always there because it's basic, and we kind of mix around with, it's either chicken, sometimes it's fish, then dal, vegetable. So we mix and match with grilled vegetables sometimes. So this is like the common ingredient throughout the whole week till Friday. And then Saturday, Sundays, I'll make pasta or there's chicken. I'm always making something. One thing
So
is
healthy as in it's pretty much the home food what Indian homes generally have is what you eat. So it's not like it's salad and soup and just that kind of food.
Salad. One thing I don't have is salad. Because salad digests really fast. So I skip salad. If you want to have salad, you can, but I'd rather have a good meal and get full with it.
Okay, all right. So Candy, thank you so much for coming on Dr. A Talks and sharing your life and the mantras, the secret mantras that you've been following to be glowing and to be being the super fit person that you are. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Aditi, for having me here. And it was so nice chatting.
Pleasure.
So long.
I know. We'll catch up after the lockdown for sure. Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Yes,
Have a
absolutely.
great evening.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. See you.